Hello, hello. Looks like I am live. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve, what it does, its role, how we can work with it on the table with our clients. And as a body worker, we're already working with the vagus nerve, but we might not realize it. So, this is super foundational, super simple. I'm not going to get very advanced in this live. I just want to talk about what's going on between the brain and the body and the body and the brain and how it's showing up on your table and some tips, some red flags for you, some green flags for you, how to tell the difference between some things. And just to understand that if the body doesn't feel safe, it will not change. It will not soften, adapt, or let you in. The vagus nerve is part of the parasympathetic nervous system. It is in our rest, digest, and repair. It is what we want to be activated to move us into homeostasis, that place where all of our battery recharges and the cells are all exchanging information and everything is working in cohesion. And it connects the brain to the body and it's moving through like our organs and breath and our heart and all these different spaces. And it's constantly scanning the room for danger. It's like, is that safe or is that a threat? Is that safe or that a threat? That safe or that a threat? So every second, it's just moving across. Our eyes are pulling in the information and it's giving the information to the brain, and the vagus nerve is responding. And it's like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And as a massage therapist, this is very important for us to know when we're on the table because we're not just working with muscles and tissue, we're working with an entire system. And the vagus nerve is basically driving the car to determine if the body's going to relax, if it's going to guard or regard old information, or if it's just going to completely shut down and go into that fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. So it is important. And we want to know what's going to happen with our clients on the table. If we can create that safety with them, the body's going to change, the body's going to evolve and shift. Now, there are some red flags to know if your client is not regulated, if they are holding their breath. And I was talking about this earlier, and it's not that long, deep inhale and exhale that some clients have when they are super regulated, that almost looks like they're not breathing because it's so slow and controlled. This is more like that holding their breath, like pulling the breath in and holding it. Um, their muscles might be pushing back against you. So maybe you go in for some trigger pointing, or you're trying to warm the muscle up to go in and do some deep tissue work, but it's like you're just hitting a wall, you're just fighting it. And it doesn't matter what you do, they're just not softening. Their muscles aren't turning into the butter, right? That we like to get into. Um, the client might be fidgeting or talking a lot or moving a whole lot on the table. Maybe their eyes are twitching a lot, or they keep telling you a story. They don't drop into the table where the table actually supports them and their tissue softens. They're kind of stiff or tense. And the muscles and the tissue tend to feel tight. Like they don't have that movement in that range of motion that you really want to get in there. If you go to do some work on them, it's kind of stuck. And likewise, there are so many signs that a client is regulating, that they are in that parasympathetic response state. They might be swallowing or having tears produce, even if it's not emotional. They might just have little tears that come out of the eyes. They will have a slower breath rate, very controlled, not shallow. The body will begin to soften under the hands. Almost if you touch them, their body begins to melt into your hand. So instead of you pulling the tissue or grabbing it to move it, they're actually starting to mold into you. They might have these little spontaneous sighs, these little I explained it earlier, like it's almost like a pressure cooker, just just letting the air out a little bit at a time. Um, the body will let you in. It's not going to guard or push you back or force. You can really get in there and begin to move the tissue or move the layers as you palpate, as you go in. It's going to let you sink in instead of having that hardness to it. And less effort and physical force is needed by you as a therapist. You tend to just, like I said, just lean in and it begins to melt. But over the years of getting body work, I've noticed there's a lot of mistakes that can be made with the tissue. I was someone who used to only receive old school deep tissue, and my therapist worked so hard on my body. She would be sweating by the time she was done with me because I was just a rock. And it didn't matter what she did. It wouldn't soften, it wouldn't change. So often therapists will try to force change with pressure. We think more technique, better results. We think no pain, no gain. We think I'll go deeper to get it to release. And oftentimes that creates a reguarding in the tissue. So the tissue might be guarded. We go in and we push an effort. It's going to push back and it gets harder and harder and harder to go in. And sometimes clients will even have the belief that the massage doesn't work or that they don't like massage because it's not that the massage is bad, it's the incorrect massage for that client. Now, not every client is going to want this soft, subtle, somatic style body work that I love to do and teach and receive. But when you're dealing with a body and a nervous system that's dysregulated, it really is what they need, at least in the beginning, to be able to trust and repattern so that you can actually go in and do that work that you want to do as the massage therapist. So often we miss what the body is actually doing. We miss the invitation to come in and help the client because we're coming at it from a different angle. So, to work with the vagus nerve, there's a few things that you can do that I would really recommend that will help you get to that space easier and effortlessly. Slow down your pace. So, when you are beginning to do the work, get your oil on, do your effleurage. I do all my work clothed. I don't use any oil, but for a traditional therapist, you would just, put your oil on and really slow down the pace and hold. So if you're coming in, okay, you got the oil on, everything's there. Now just hold. Fascia movement, somatic movement, nervous system regulation. Holding is going to create a new pattern in their body and their nervous system. And the body will respond and let you go deeper. We want to make sure that we're paying attention to the breath and what they're doing on the table. Again, are they tense and stiff or have they melted in the table? Are they letting the table support them? If you can get them to melt into the table, you're going to be able to go further. Watch the breath. Do not ignore it. Use stillness instead of constant movement. So instead of really just moving and moving and moving and moving, again, hold, stay still, allow the settling. Meet the body where it is, not where you think it should be. If the body is pushing back and guarding, hold, be, allow. It's like a child, like a little baby, an infant, right? They're moving around, they're tired, they don't have language, they're just whining and crying. And sometimes, if we just hold them, we just put our hand on them, we just let them know they're safe, their body will begin to stop fighting. And the crying and the exhaustion stops and slows down. And then they move into that rest and digest space where they can sleep, relax. But when that body is amped up and we come in and we start moving stuff around too fast or too deep, we can actually dysregulate more from the re-guarding that's going to happen. So meet their body where they are. We don't need to fix people. We just need to help them create safety, because their nervous system is brilliant and it knows exactly what to do. It will take care of everything for you. In somatic work, I don't do a whole lot of movement with their body. Their body moves to me. When they have that space where it's safe and they begin to regulate, their body begins to do the work in my hands. And I don't have to wear my joints out. I don't have to worry about repetitive strain. I don't have to drop an elbow in people or start digging in my thumbs with my little double jointed hypermobile hands. I don't have to do any of that because they begin to melt in my hands. So my final thought here before I close this off is you don't create the release for the client. You create the environment where the body feels safe enough to release and let go and soften and move. It will do it for you. And this is why your clients will continue to come back to you. This is why their pain will simply disappear and never attack them again. This is a skill. It's an understanding of the system. And if you can help your clients do this and they begin to repattern, let go of the guarding, stay in regulation, they will be clients for life. They will never leave you because you're teaching their body to be in a different space. And when their body is a different space, their life will look different and it will be easier and simpler. So if you're out there and you want some information about vagus nerve or somatic body work, I invite you to follow me or message me. We have classes all across the country. We just connected with a couple other schools. We're so excited to collaborate with our schools and bring this in to the education department for students. Our students are doing so well when they take these classes. Our veteran massage therapists are changing the way that they're doing body work. Their bodies are responding well, and they are getting such great feedback. And so this is for any level body worker, brand new, veteran, ready to scale and move forward. It doesn't matter where you are. Using techniques that are going to help regulate the nervous system, the vagus nerve, and the somatic body will absolutely change your practice. So if you want to learn more, let's talk about that. I'm Monique, and I'll see you next week.